Okay, we are coming out of executive session. The time is 7:19 PM and there were no decisions made during session. All right, so now we're going to move into the action items portion of our agenda and discussion.
So I would move that out of the 5 A, B, C, D, and E candidates, that we bring in candidates A, B, and D for interviews.
I would second that.
Tiffany, can you please call to question?
Emily Hutchinson Brown,
Aye.
Tim Hunter,
Aye.
Rachel McWhorter,
Aye.
Victor Figueroa.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. We will move forward with candidate A, B, and D under the direction of Dr. Center to move forward with her duties as contracted with the district. And I'm going to ask you to continue the rest of the meeting since the rest of it is you.
Name the candidates and put their name out there in any order. It doesn't need to go A, B, D. You
Oh,
just
we are able to?
Yep,
Okay.
you have to read their names.
Okay, so I'm going to apologize in advance because I may or may not get this name correct. The final 3 candidates will be Mr. John Gibson Ostermeyer, Dr. Mary A. Marable, and Ms. Audrey Hazelton.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so now we need to thank you for your work in reviewing all the documents that have been sent. Now we need to determine the travel of the candidates and how we want that to look. Normally, districts pay for 2 nights. They'll pay per diem and then a travel expense or an allotment of the travel. And you guys have thoughts on that?
I move that we pay for up to $1,000 for travel to and from Memphis, the 2 hotel nights, and then per diem for the 3 days.
I second that.
Are we all agree to that? We don't need to vote.
I was gonna say, I think we can just agree to it. I don't know if we have to actually.
Yep, we can just agree to it. We don't have to.
So we're gonna go up to, two nights, $1,000 in travel reimbursement and the daily, food per diem.
Per diem for 3,
Which is
okay.
for the 3 days.
And
Okay?
then for those,
Standard rate.
that are traveling.
Yep,
Okay.
just for those that are traveling, correct.
Okay.
Also, what about spouses, right?
That's what I was just gonna
Okay.
ask. Do you want me to have them to invite their spouse and have their spouse come to the area if they want and are available to and still stay within that allotment of, that was just agreed
Yeah,
to?
that's the allotment. If spouses want to be involved, that's fine, but then we're sticking with that allotment.
I agree.
Perfect.
I agree. Do you guys agree?
I agree.
Okay. I will communicate, depending on what time I get home and trying to look at time changes of individuals.
Yeah. As soon
And
as
so I'll
possible.
either call them tonight or call them in the morning, and I'll call the candidates as well that did not, because I like to do it personal, not just send an email. So I'll be reaching out to them. I'll be working with Tiffany on finalizing all the details of the schedule. And that's what we're gonna go to next are the interview schedule times. Couple different things. We'll start with me. So outside of the contract is if you want me to attend and be in attendance on Thursday for the whole afternoon and all day Friday and be a support and help you get candidates from place A to B and keep that all rolling. That's a $750, totally outside of the contract. What that includes is working with, I think we had originally talked about the student board members kind of giving a tour. I would go over some things with them prior to that. I would be at the meet and greet, and what we do with that is we give note cards and pens, and then they write pros, strengths on the skills, character attributes, characteristics and qualities of the candidates. I type all those up to get to the board, so you guys have that direct feedback. Yes, you're there. Yes, you're listening. Yes, you're observing and watching. But people's specific comments, I type that up too, and then on Friday, I train the candidates, make sure everything's set and kind of go back and forth room to room and help get the candidates from place to place. So that's what that entails, so.
Now, on Friday, when you say train, you also train those that are chosen randomly for the stakeholders,
yeah,
and you
that would
walk
be
them
the
through a
training. Yep,
process
yep.
so that they're
Correct.
all, okay,
Correct.
so the $750 really is kind of a spillover in terms of community engagement that evening. That's Thursday evening for us, and then spills over into Friday and that entire day in
Entire day.
process.
Mhm.
The dinner on Thursday evening, sorry if I missed
No,
this.
that's fine.
Do you attend that or is that,
I usually attend it.
Okay.
Yes.
all right, so personally, I think it's well worth $750. I also know that, we are gonna be a little bit short-staffed on that Friday. I don't even think the staff is working. No, it is a work day. So our staff is already gonna be engaged with items and we cannot step away from our interview table. So I think we almost really need her help to make it smooth and
I'm fine with that.
everyone where they need to be. You guys okay with it? You okay with it?
So with that being monetary, we should probably motion and vote.
We can,
You
if you
can.
want to, sure, yeah,
And we can do that at when we end, we can continue this and you can do it.
Okay,
Larry.
that's fine.
So-
so someone remember that.
So then if we do, the meet and greet, we need to set a time for what time you want the tour to start.
Mhm.
And then how long you estimate that to last with the students. And then from there, a little bit of time and then go directly into the meet and greet. I always recommend that the meet and greet start right about the time that school gets out. Because that way you get more staff to come over and get involved. Yes, I know that's early for the community, but it also gives the staff time to come in and to go and just keep it open long enough that then community can flow into. So, usually it goes to about 6:30 to allow that time to happen. So kind of back up, if it ends at 6:30 with the meet and greet, dinner will be immediately following. What time does school get out?
Yeah.
Elementary is at 4:10, 4:15 is high school.
Or
Okay.
10.
Yeah.
We also want to, as we, kind of had discussed early on, involve our student board members with the
The
tour.
tour first, yeah.
So if we allowed the student board to start a tour, at an appropriate time before school is out, then they wouldn't have to stay late after school. And then it could transition to where their tours end and they just end their tour where we're gonna have our community
Yep.
meet and greet. So would 4:30 for a community meet and greet be too early? Should we do 4:45 or 5? What are we
Well, we want
thinking?
to get staff to come over.
We need
I
to
know.
do it at like
You wanna
4:15.
have it right
But-
before it gets out.
Okay, I'm just trying to think about those, community members that are working a normal job.
That's why you keep it open till
Open till
6:30.
6.
Okay,
Or 6:15, I don't know, what's normal, but you do wanna have it stay late.
so like 4:15 to 6:15, 6:30. And then don't forget, we still have to go to dinner, so 4:15 to 6:30,
6:30?
which means what do tours, how long does a tour take, Tiffany? You know,
That's a whole campus.
yeah,
Like to go through the
Everybody?
elementary, down the halls,
see the whole campus.
Yeah.
Wow, football field.
out to the football.
I would do
field.
like an hour and a half.
I mean, it just depends on how.
Do they all go together at one time?
Yep, they're all together.
Okay,
I would say an hour.
I would say an hour.
Yeah, it's not-
So maybe
not
start them
one
at 3:15?
Mm-hmm.
What's a natural break in the schedule? As far as period?
2:55, so 3.
Okay,
So
let's
3.
do that then.
3 would be ideal and perfect, they could come
Perfect,
over,
because
we
that
could do,
period, they missed the,
if we do 3 to 4, if they run a little late,
Yeah.
that's fine, if they get done a little early, that's
Perfect.
fine too, so we'll go 3 to 4 as the tour.
it's easier on our students too, because
4:15 to 6:30 or 6:15?
It's-
Let's do 6:30,
Okay, to 6:30.
You had dinner planned at 7?
well,
whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, 6:45, where were you thinking for dinner?
I asked, okay, so Tiffany and Alice and I had this discussion, you guys, because we were trying to figure out fairness in terms of where we're taking all of our food orders.
Yeah,
And so we did a board dinner at Columbine. We have to go to P and D kind of for lunch, trays, ease of
Mhm.
dietary, make your own sandwich, blah, 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 blah. Plus it was less expensive. So P and D's got a portion. Chavolos is gonna cater,
The Mesa would be your busiest.
La Mesa is gonna do
Interview night.
interview night dinner. So I've asked Moondog, I don't know whether they're gonna come back and say yes. If they don't, then we need to restart the cycle and go to Columbine. So we also are doing, oh no, that's coffee, and you guys figured out coffee internally.
Mhm.
You took on some of it internally.
Okay,
Okay, coffee and pastries or whatever it is we're doing.
For breakfast,
So
pastries, coffee.
It's not really breakfast, but
which is, it's just continental type breakfast,
Correct.
that'd be perfect.
correct.
So 6:45 Columbine,
Or either Columbine or Moondog,
Or sorry,
if they,
okay,
it
one of
depends
the-
on if they're
okay.
gonna come to the table with a discount, cause I'm very conscientious of the budget.
gotcha.
And
Okay,
that's not exactly a
so
budget.
Tiffany, we don't need to have that finalized tonight, we just need a time and we'll work on
Yeah.
that reservation.
We'll figure out
So that's
what our budget is.
done. Okay,
We'll know soon.
and then just for transparency and clarity, oh, hold it, no, going back to schedule, sorry. What time do you want to start on Friday for the interviews? I would suggest 9 would be done by 3.
Because
then
you
go
have a
into
training
executive
before
session.
that,
Mhm.
right? So that would mean,
8:30 to 8:50, and the board meeting does need to start at 8:50 to do roll call, do the pledge, and get it going, so the first interview would start at 9.
what do you guys think?
Okay.
I mean, we can go earlier too, and then we could do the interview from 8 to 8:30, it's totally up to you guys.
I just know that you've got community members coming and they have to come earlier for your
Yeah.
stakeholder groups. That's a lot to ask. I don't know.
What's the concern? They gotta come early.
Yeah, if we start at 8, they'd have to be here at 7:30.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
9:30.
I would either recommend
They should
8:30
start
or
at 8:30 and then we should start at 9.
9.
9, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, there we go, thank you. That's all we need on that, and then I'll get that scheduled. Just to clarify for the interview questions, the process and procedures. So as you know, the board is the only one that does a true interview of the candidates. The 2 stakeholder groups will ask questions and they provide you guys feedback, so it's more of a screening, just always needs clarified. And the questions have been pre-selected. The board voted on those, as you well know, and the top ones went to the board. That's what you're asking. The stakeholders will get the others, so they won't be able to come in and ask their own questions. We just, for transparency, always make sure that's noted. At the meet and greet is very open and they can ask pretty open-ended questions there.
And you'll communicate that with the stakeholders
Yep.
beforehand?
Yes, I will, it'll go
But
out
before
tomorrow.
that.
Yep, it'll go out tomorrow to be detailed.
And we talked about, but not decided last year, I mean, the last superintendent, we interviewed and had it online.
It will
We
be.
did this interview.
Mhm.
Will that be the case in this?
Yeah, because it's actually in a board meeting.
It's a board meeting.
It's a special
It'll be a
meeting.
regular
It's not gonna be
It's gonna,
executive
it's just,
session.
no.
It is
Okay.
public.
We will be allowed to enter executive session,
To do a vote.
to vote.
Mhm.
Well,
To make
make-
sure-
Well,
Make a
to make the
determination.
determination.
Make a determination and then come out to do.
Yeah. There's a
At the end.
whole nother statute first.
So each candidate will be interviewed and everybody that's interested will be able to go online and watch the interview.
Correct.
Okay,
And we do
It'll be
have to have
live
seats available too. The public is welcome to
Yeah, okay.
come sit. It's a
Mhm.
public meeting. They can go into any group that they want because they're all part of the public meeting.
Right.
We encourage them to come to the board because that's the most questions and the most in-depth. But they can go to any group and it'll be online.
And Tiffany, I think it's really, this is the appropriate time and place. Can you explain location for the board meeting? Because it's not gonna be in here.
So, because this building is so choppy and we needed so many rooms, we felt like keeping it in a centralized area, so we're doing the west wing of the high school. So you would enter in the middle school office building area. We'll have signs directing everyone. We'll use Miss Ayan Farrar's classroom as the board meeting. It'll have technology set up for everything to be streamed live. We will also use, I believe it is, seating in Dr. Travis White's room and Dr. Maribel's room.
And
For
the
the
lounge.
stakeholder groups, and then we'll have the lounge.
I will
for-
say we need to change that.
You wanna change her room?
Yeah, you can. That would
Okay.
does not look good
Okay,
if it's
okay.
in her room and
Okay.
she's in.
So
her
the
room.
other room to use, you guys, just so you're aware, is the science room,
Mhm.
correct? And we can make it work.
Yeah, cause that one's not live, it's just.
It's just.
It's just gonna be a science room, so you know, there's those funky
Yeah.
tables. That's why we had made that
No, I
choice.
totally understand it, but if she's a candidate, it'll kind of look,
Yeah, I agree.
it's public perception at this
Yep,
point.
and actually all of her tables, like we could still use the tables and chairs because we are gonna have to assemble tables and chairs. And then the lounge really worked out well because it is a very long day that everybody has to stay present.
Mhm.
And that was the biggest space we could figure out for like coffee and food and a couch. And I mean, it's not exactly Taj Mahal, but it's better than sitting in a classroom in a
In these
desk,
lectures.
in a desk all day, right?
Yeah.
And do
So
you
that's
want,
why we really moved it.
yeah, do you want the candidates to also kind of have that be their hangout place too?
Mhm.
Perfect, okay,
Has to
awesome.
be.
Great information and details, thank you guys.
And we also have, the little conference room by Alice's office for Keith to do, tech stuff.
Perfect.
And then if there's any just needed space for you.
And we also talked about the little J space being available. It is a
Mhm.
teacher workday, so if somebody needed to go down there and do some work or whatever, then that's available as well, because it's open and it's in the same building. It
Perfect,
just made more sense to go.
it does. So the question that I have, where the board members are gonna do their interview, is that room confidential that we can go directly into executive session after 3, or will we need to move back over here?
We can do everything.
We're gonna stay there.
Okay,
Well, we're
perfect,
moving all of our tech over there to make it work.
perfect. That is ideal then.
We won't be able to.
We just kick everybody out.
It's just part, you know, we gotta move all of this
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, then the next thing is, criminal and financial background checks. Do you guys have those? They're part of the contract, so.
Yes.
Okay, I figured, so I'll get that started with them tomorrow. And you had talked about the disc and the driving, forces. Do you want that done on the candidates as well?
I think it's.
It's $200 a candidate.
I think it's very critical though, because it really speaks to leadership style, correct? Do
It
you
does.
want to give us another, just for the well-being of everyone?
So yeah, it does really give their leadership style, and I sent you guys that kind of overview of it. And to me, it's another piece of the puzzle, and you know, you've had all the different pieces, now you've seen them, so when you watch them, if you've read that interview profile first, you should be able to see, yep, and be able to check that off and to be able to see it in their answers. It also talks about some of their strengths and weaknesses, which the selected candidate, great for goal setting and to be working towards those, but it really kind of highlights the person and how they are and how they operate.
And since this person is our one employee, I love the idea of goals, strengths, weaknesses. It could help us formulate as we move, or as the board moves into superintendent review process. I know it's certainly a stretch, if you will, but cost benefit is what I look at. I am all for it.
So in the form of scheduling, when will they do that and when will we get that information?
I will send an email tomorrow. When Bayfield just did it too, it took 3 days for them to, it's a 30 minutes really quick for them to do, and he flips it around very quickly. So you should have it. Today is Wednesday. My guess, tomorrow's Thursday. My guess it was over the weekend, you'd get them.
Okay,
And you'd have a week to read them prior to.
thanks.
No, it's a good question. So stakeholders, my recommendation, we had 20 members apply to be on it. It's a little bigger than the normal committee, but my recommendation is that we have everybody that submitted be on a stakeholder group. I don't want to just not have 1 or 2 be on the stakeholder group, so I would recommend having everybody participate. And are you guys good with that?
Yep, I'm good.
Perfect. I will send that information then out to them tomorrow. I think that will be great. Normally, the next thing is just I like to have it on the record and kind of ahead of time because we get lost in details sometimes on Friday when we're interviewing because there's so much of negotiating the contract details. Usually that is the board president. But that is up to, we'll work on setting parameters, doing some of those, and then should communicate out to the board as, it continues to go through if we're successful in finding a candidate. That's up to you guys.
Do you still sit kind of as an assistance to that process and
Yeah.
help guide?
I'm still right there for you.
Okay. Then I would say
You're
I'm
on your
willing.
own.
Right, then I would say I'm willing,
And we
because
have-
that's very helpful.
Yeah, and it's for the most part, you have Todd's contract
Sure.
right now.
I've actually
never-
already started in. on-
Yeah, I never recommend just sending details to legal because it costs too much.
Mhm.
Have his contract, modify things. Once you have that done, then send it to legal because laws change, they need to update some things, but
Exactly.
other than that, can you all be done in-house for the most
Yeah.
part, okay. And then we just need to start 10 minutes before the interview, so on May 9th, we need to start the, board meeting at 8:50, so we can start that interview at 9 o'clock.
And are you gonna send us all of the schedule?
Yeah, you'll get a lot of emails from me, Victor, in the next couple days. Don't expect a fighting
I'm not
update because you'll be getting several.
Several
as we go
updates
through.
along
Yeah.
the, along the way.
So tomorrow I'll work with Tiffany and get those specific room numbers, because the candidates, except for one, don't know who Travis White is, where his room is. So we'll find details, we'll get all that, you'll get all that information as well.
And I would like to just, state, I think it's just good to know. Tiffany and Alice both have given an incredible amount of time already. And so I want to thank you for that because it actually takes away from the normal amount of work they have. They still have their normal job. And Tiffany especially has been working weekends. She's worked evenings. I think Dr. Center, you would agree.
Oh,
Very responsive, very well done. I've been really impressed and it's been so nice to have a really nice, solid support with details that, you know, you drop one of those little details along the way and everybody's running around asking you where, when, what, how. So just want to publicly thank and acknowledge the work that they're doing because it's been top notch and it is literally them, Dr. Center, and it has been myself. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, very much so. And I will get, tomorrow too, I'll send redacted resumes, because the resumes that the applications that you guys have confidential information on them, just for you. I will redact, the applications and give those for the 3 candidates to Tiffany, so they can be posted on the website, so the community can look at that. As well as I'll create a press release and I'll get back to you tomorrow to post on the website as well.
And the press release that you create, will it contain the information in it related to the community meet and
Yes,
greet?
it does.
Okay, great,
Yep, and I'll get the location
Wanna make sure.
specifically on that too, so yes, that'll all be in there.
perfect. And we'll also follow up with, I'm assuming, some social media posting around that as well.
That'd be perfect.
And Make Us Matters, let's do a Make Us Matters. Let's do a separate Make Us Matters for it rather than wait. Otherwise, it's gonna be like it'll be,
It just came out,
yeah, it'll be right. Just too close to the actual time, so we'll do a separate Make Us Matters for it as well.
Where are we doing the meet and greet?
The Performance Center. Performance Center was Pete's recommendation.
Okay.
We were going to do it in the cafeteria, but our gracious school is hosting another school, Casey's cooking, it didn't work out, so we are gonna move everybody over to Performance Center. And then, I thought best to just leave those details up to our staff, because especially like with the audio visual, Keith knows what's best, he'll get it all set up, these guys are guiding it.
We just hadn't set a place, so I just wondered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It was a
Like,
struggle.
like,
It was a
you
bit of a
would be an
struggle.
extra, go to Tiffany.
We didn't know for a bit, we were like, where do we go? We had to figure out a home, so it's gonna work out fine.
Perfect. And I just want to confirm Craig will be able to be at the interviews all day, correct?
Yes.
I am hoping,
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't-
he will be.
Okay.
He told me,
when
when
did he tell you that?
we were picking up our kids at
Perfect.
4 o'clock.
Okay, good, cause I pressed on him this morning pretty hard, I was like, please,
Okay.
please,
that's
please.
just really important that all 5 people are there.
Okay, good,
He will be there all day on Friday.
great.
That is all I have. Oh, you want to make
No,
a motion on that?
you wanted a
That's all I
motion.
have.
So I move, that we accept the extra, to have Dr. Center at the interviews or for both the Thursday and the Friday. And then also that we, have the extra for the disc and the driving forces,
So it's $750 for Dr. Center,
plus
And-
$600 for the others.
total,
Right.
$600 total.
Yeah.
3 candidates, $200.
Second.
Second, Tiffany, will you call the question? Emily Hutchinson Brown, aye. Tim Hunter,
Aye.
Rachel McWhirter, aye. Victor Figueroa.
Aye.
All passes 4-0. And with that, I think that we are all squared away and I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 7:44.
Good.
Thank you all.
Perfect, thank you.